Hello everyone, back for Midweek Musings with the lovely Sam Bullard here. And Fifi.
Hello.
Yeah, so just a bit of a catch up really. Where do we want to start?
Well, you could tell us, you were telling me you've had a lovely bit of time away. You returned to the St Albans stand for the first time since you moved up to Wolverhampton.
Yeah.
How was your time away?
Oh, it's lovely, thank you. So I had a couple of days away in Hampshire in the New Forest with my best friends for her birthday, which was that was just wonderful. So we had
Nice area too, isn't it?
oh, absolutely beautiful. Yeah, just rolling countryside everywhere, like uninterrupted. And we were on a horse farm. There's horses everywhere in Hampshire. Just seems to be where people with horses live. And you got the New Forest ponies everywhere, just wandering. So we were on a horse farm in a little what was it they called, shepherd's hut, and with a hot tub, which is now, I know, like now I've had the hot tub experience. No,
you get one for your back garden.
Oh, God, it's kind of ruined any future trips that don't have a hot tub, because it's just, yeah, it was really beautiful. We were really lucky with the weather, and so just lots of walking, yeah, with the dog, and so that was really gorgeous. And then went to visit my friends and family back in Hertfordshire, went to the St Albans stand, which was it's just so lovely. It's so lovely. My original stand family. So yeah, it was a lovely little break really. Yeah, once again sort of takes you away from all the stress and it's the bombardment, isn't it, of information. So I had a little break from that, which is always good. Again,
lovely and well deserved as well.
Yeah, it was really nice. And yeah, disconnecting again, like I keep talking about, and I've had the chance to do it. I've been really lucky lately with little trips away just for the odd day or two, and just disconnecting from all the social media and stuff, or at least this time just on it far less. And again, I just noticed that immediate difference in myself. And yeah, so I was saying to you before, the trusty old smartphone is gonna. I was actually, before I started the stands, I basically come off the smartphone completely. I got my old Samsung, whatever it was, really old little thing.
I remember when I met you for the first time at the protests, you only had that little tiny,
I did. So I was nearly there. I was like, right. And then once the stands really took off, I found that I needed the smartphone at that point. I don't know, maybe looking back, maybe I could have done it differently, I don't know, but it seemed the easiest thing.
Well, that's what it's all about, isn't it? It makes it easier for us and convenient, but it also makes it easier for them with the monitoring and control and distractions. And
that's why I've decided, I mean, to be fair, it has been very useful they are, for a lot of things, but I've been feeling more and more that I'm sort of controlled by the fact it's there all the time, and that kind of compulsion to check in with things, and just I just find myself too drawn into it, too distracted by it. So I made the decision, having had these like few little trips recently and being like kind of cut off from it, that it's time to go. So I'll still obviously be doing the social media, but I can do it all on the laptop, and it means that I can, right, there is this amount of time in a day, that's my time for my emails, social media and all of that. And if anyone needs to get hold of me, urgently, they can just ring like they used to.
Back in the good old
In the old
days.
days, you'd get a phone call, wouldn't you? Not these like frantic messages. Oh, they're not reading them. Just ring, you know. So, but I'll keep people posted on how I go with my my detox, my smartphone detox. If I have any withdrawal symptoms, or because I am a bit. I've always prided myself on not being kind of really addicted, but there was always the messages from people. That's what always got me, and it's very easy to have whole ongoing conversations, aren't they, with no end, which is all very lovely, but actually it's you're taken away again from living your life. You're sort of half in and half out. So that, I think, is what I'll notice.
Yeah, I suppose if you do, if it's on the computer, it's much easier to kind of regulate your time and be able to find that balance between kind of being present in the physical world and then also, you know, doing that engagement on social media. I don't know. I am terrible for my phone, I've got to say. I should probably do the same, to be honest, but I'm not quite that. I don't think I'm quite ready to let go.
That's the thing, like I didn't have a smartphone for years. I was living in Asia. I had like an emergency, again, one of these little old Nokias or something. And I never wanted one because I'd noticed that anyone that had one was constantly on it. And I was like, no, I'd always worked hard at being present, and, you know, I'd done lots of meditation. And so I'd kind of really slowed down, and I didn't want to do it. Then I came back to the UK, and when I got my job, you had to they gave you this smartphone. It was an iPhone for work, and I was like, okay. And I needed to replace my little old thing had knackered out, and I was going off to Sri Lanka, and I didn't have my camera broken, and I ended up getting that phone. So that was in 2018, for the camera, actually.
Yeah.
But it sort of ended up getting dragged in, and but because I think it's probably a bit easier for someone like me, because I remember very clearly not having had all of that stuff. It's a bit, you're younger than me, and most people are.
Oh, BAC.
So for them, it's been like, you know, a long time that they've had them. For me, it wasn't. I was late into the game anyway, but it's still going to be a bit of a wrench.
Yeah,
it just shows
I must admit, I do try to be mindful. You know, we have dinner time, which in our house takes well over an hour because my kids are just really slow to eat, but there's no phones at the dinner table, so we have that quality time. And then, you know, when I'm doing activities with the kids, family days out, it's, you know, I'm very conscious that, you know, there are particularly times where you really do need to be present. So and it has, you know, much more kind of recently just being aware of, and when I find myself reaching for it, I'm like, do you need to look at your phone? Do you really need to look at your phone? And I am trying to be more mindful with it. I don't think I'm quite at a stage where I could just let it go, but I'm certainly, you know, more aware and trying to use it more consciously. But as you say, there is just this draw to
For me,
be on there.
And know I need to go cold turkey because I've done this right. I'm cussing that, and it just, without even realizing what I'm doing consciously, I've got it in my bloody hand again. It's frightening, really. Like this is what they always said, isn't it? That it was moving to, you know, and you go from eventually from the hand into, and it's all in here. No thanks. But like I say, it's not like I'm going to be like completely tech free, because I do still have to do stuff, but I'm going to be using the laptop and hoping that will kind of scale down, because
I think that's,
sorry,
I was going to say, I think that's the bottom line, really. I mean, technology is fantastic, don't get me wrong, you know, it is absolutely brilliant, but you know, it is certainly, again, we keep coming back to it, that balance of making sure that it's not the sole focus of your life. And obviously where we are kind of heading, you know, the plans for this kind of technocratic transhumanist kind of future is kind of, it is time to really start being more conscious consumers and kind of trying to be more present in reality rather than online. But which kind of leads us on to the being more present in real life. You've set up a new stand.
Yes, well, it's starting this Sunday. So a brand new stand in Wolverhampton. So it's in a place called Technopool, which is just around the corner from where me and Andy live. And yeah, I just thought, you know, fresh energy, fresh start. Yeah, just get something else going. It kind of needs it. Yeah, so we're really excited about that. Big shout out to Carly.
Yes, hi Carly.
She's absolutely lovely. But yeah, so yeah, that'll be where the lives will be coming from in the future. From on Sundays at my local stand. But yeah, it's quite exciting, really.
Yeah, it's like a new little baby.
Yeah, like well, I wanted to, talking of little babies and stuff, because we're both growing, aren't we? We're both like nurturing our little seedling babies. And I wanted to show people, because I did a video a little while back and they were just sort of starting to come through, and now they're looking great, but it's bloody piddling down today. It's really quite out there, so
not really a garden day. I need to get myself in the room.
Yeah,
it's quite exciting watching them all kind of grow.
Yeah, I would definitely encourage anyone who's thinking about it to, there's so much help out there. I just saw little videos on YouTube and things, because I've never grown anything in my life, really. Sunflowers at infant school when I was about 4, I remember that, and watercress. But you know, I've never really, to be honest, I've never really had gardens where I've lived to be able to do it. I didn't really know about growing things in pots, and I thought you had to have, you know, like a full-on allotment or something, but there's so much you can do. And obviously we've been chatting with Tommy from the community, shout out to Tommy, and we'll definitely be doing another chat soon. Yeah, so there's lots of information from the community Telegram groups on how to grow and when to grow and what to grow. But
yeah, there's some great stuff out there as well about like space saving kind of, you know, things that you can do, like, and create that, where if you've only got a very small space, that you can kind of cram in all over the place. And yeah, we did a little bit last year. We had to go at peas and carrots last year. The peas went bananas and were brilliant, but they got absolutely like demolished by slugs. I mean, I wasn't quite as kind of enthusiastic about the growing. It was just, I'm just going to give it a go and see how it goes. But this year we've kind of got all out, and we're just, we have kind of covered most of my garden in different things. Just bought a cherry tree, which I'm so excited about. It's like my little baby. I'm out there every day kind of giving it a stroke and giving it some love and wishing it well. And I feel this real connection to the tree, which is really strange. I've never kind of felt that before. There's this real connection to this cherry tree. It'll be a couple of years before we kind of get cherries, but the idea of just being able to go out in my garden and pick a cherry off my tree is it's delightfully exciting.
It really is, but doesn't it show you how disconnected we've become?
Absolutely.
You know, just the absolute pleasure of, and it is a connection, isn't it? It's just having your hands in the earth, and you see all the little bugs around. You get to know which birds like which thing, and what's which things to plant next to something else to keep the bugs off it. You know, there's so much that you just kind of just knew before. But it's great to see this. There's definitely a resurgence.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's and you know,
I don't know whether it's it's whether it's the incoming food shortages or whether it is just a natural, perhaps just this natural desire of people coming to this conclusion that we've lost touch with nature and our history and all the things that, you know, health as well is obviously, you know, important. And you know, perhaps there is this growing within people that's kind of like, kind of want to reconnect with that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's probably a bit of both, isn't it? Really, I mean, I think I've always had it in mind. Yeah, kind of taking control back of food and health, but then this is kind of really, it's like, okay, can't just keep talking about it or thinking, oh, that was
your focus slightly, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I tell you what was a bit alarming, no surprises, but it's in Australia, isn't it, where they're trying to kibosh anybody growing. Did you see that with old Dan, say the man, but it doesn't seem appropriate. Yeah, but they were doing this in the States, I remember years ago, kind of bulldozing people's gardens with under some absolute, you know, ridiculous bollocks about health and safety, you know, whatever it was. But if that doesn't wake people up as well, like what could the reasons possibly be? And we're seeing now, aren't we, the attacks on home education over here, this is, and you know, anything, anything that's to do with people being out of the system, they're going
more self-sufficient. Yeah, no, we got to nip this in the bud. I think, yeah, we saw obviously over lockdown, a lot more people were kind of forced into this home education system. And I think a lot of families did see that actually their children were thriving through kind of, you know, doing the kind of home education. And yeah, a lot more people have kind of branched into it. But I think over here as well, they are trying to kind of get rid of allotments as well. I've been reading that councils are kind of just getting rid of allotments. So, you know, it seems, oh, it's happening in Australia, it's really far away, but actually there does seem to be this systematic kind of attack on self-sufficiency.
Yeah, they were trying to close the, I don't know what's happened actually, I have to find out, but in St Kilburn, they were trying to close the council was trying to close the allotments down there. It's very close to home. It's happening all over. It's just so painfully obvious though what they're trying to do, and one can only hope that causes people to stop and think, well, why? And also I think for a nation of gardeners like Britain is renowned, that people are obsessed with their garden, and we've always had a lot of people growing stuff, even when it kind of went a bit out of fashion, or, you know, we've become a lot more dependent on supermarkets and stuff. It's always been part of Britain, hasn't it, growing? So I think they'll be in for a bit of a fight if they try and take people's gardens away from them.
Well, with any luck, people will care more about their garden than their freedom.
Wow. Yeah. We'll see, won't we? But yeah, it's strange times, very strange times. It feels like we're in that sort of lull again, that sort of holding space. We were waiting for the next thing to unravel or reveal itself.
Yeah, but I think equally there's certainly a lot to be excited about. I think, you know, we've been talking with the community. We had a fantastic chat with the People's Health Alliance, which I think we're going to talk about in just a minute. But there are so many things going on, so many people actually being very proactive and actually getting organised. And, you know, we may not have any control over what's coming, over, you know, the events that are going to unfold. You know, to some extent, we have limited control over what our governments are actually doing, and, you know, the WEF and all that kind of stuff. There's only so much we can do to affect that, but actually there is a huge amount that we can do and that is being done, that will at least either lessen the impact of what they're doing, or make us more able to cope and survive and thrive and kind of move in a different direction. And I for one, I'm super excited. I think we're in a really, really exciting time. There's so much going on that is just so positive.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing a lot more action now, I think, that than at any other point. I think we've gone from like the big protests and the which all obviously has played a major role, but I think people they've gone away into the communities, and you're seeing like all these initiatives, all these things have been going on in the background. It's like they're coming to fruition now. There is a lot of organisation going on, and it's not only us kind of regular folk that are doing amazing things, but we have got like really great minds at work here. We have got people from all of these sectors of industry, whatever it is, in every healthcare and education and travel, everything you can think of. We have got kind of top people as well that have been working away behind the scenes, and it's now that we're starting to see all of these things that are being put into place, and I do think it's with that kinds of energy, it feeds on itself, it builds, because these things are coming from such a pure place, if you like. It is for everyone. It's for our freedom. It's living in a much more natural, normal, genuinely normal way for us. It's got an energy of its own, and it keeps building and building, and things are just created at such a speed. Like anything that we could possibly need or want, we've got it there at our fingertips. Just got to keep our focus on that and away from the 24/7
distractions and
the fear machine. Yeah, exactly. And and that's what, again, like bring it back to like jacking in the phone. For me, it's measuring, it's getting it in a more measured way, so I'm not constantly absorbing this stuff, and then you've got that energy's freed up then that you hadn't even realized was being sucked out of you. Yeah, you've suddenly got that to put into other endeavors. So it is happening. I agree with you. I'm feeling very positive about things. I'm not being I'm not kind of kidding myself that we might not have tough times ahead and all of that, very testing times, but I think we're heading in the right direction.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, the People's Health Alliance for me, I think, is one of the most exciting things. It's because we're seeing over here with our NHS, it is being systematically dismantled, underfunded, overwhelmed, privatised. Obviously, that bill went through, got royal assent in the House of Lords. So we're one step closer to sort of having the NHS just kind of removed from us at all. And I think there are so many people out there that are just being left behind by the system. And obviously a lot more that have lost faith, and sorry, there's my cat's tail waving in front of the screen. But yeah, a lot more that have lost faith in the system and lost faith in what the role of the NHS is, and whether it is to treat our health, or whether it is to, oh, my cat's just turned my video off. Never work with children and animals, eh? But the People's Health Alliance, they've got so much already in place in such a short time. And we spoke to Lisa and Catherine yesterday, which was recorded, and we're going to put out hopefully later today, but yeah, it was an absolutely brilliant chat, hearing about all the things they've done. It's only been a few weeks and they've got nearly 60 community hubs across the UK, which is just incredible. They've got their health optimization program. They've got a lot of campaigns coming up. And they're also looking at expanding into, you know, things like education and food. So, you know, with those and the community, and obviously there are plenty of others, but those two particularly are really kind of working towards, you know, bringing us back to this community life and bringing us back together, working together to, as you say, a more pure kind of conscious way of living. And fantastic.
Yeah, and it's something that all the stands can get involved in, because we're little ready-made communities now, aren't we? We've been running for over a year, and so these are all things that everyone can get involved in, and yeah, it's something everyone can contribute towards. So it's not something set up and you're going, you know, like it's another system that you go and it's all kind of done for you. It's everybody contributing and bringing to it what they can. Obviously we've got people that are experts in whichever areas, and they can give guidance and support and advice, but in the end it's actually down to us to be implementing these things. And I think it does change how people feel, you know, about themselves and about their communities, to have that level of involvement, instead of this kind of, you know, people sort of drifting through life and so stressed out all the time, trying to keep on top of everything, to actually feed the system. You know, we're just the fodder, aren't we, the donkeys that are keeping it all going to feed the fat cats. But actually, when you're working on things for yourself and your people, again, it's the energy, isn't it? You're not going to be feeling exhausted and I'm not interested. So
well, perhaps maybe, depending on how much time you're putting in, perhaps exhausted, but in a much more positive way than the exhaustion from working, you know, 60 hours a week in a job you hate, you know,
just
a few hours a week.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of exhaustion. It's a more fulfilled kind of, if there's such a thing as positive exhaustion. I know after I did, you know, over the Easter weekend, I did hours and hours in the garden and I was absolutely exhausted, but it was in a really, really positive way, very different to when I've been, you know, just knackered through sort of other things. It was really this, I've achieved something and it's really amazing. And
no, exactly, it's completely different
yeah.
feeling. So yeah, well, I'm very much looking forward to setting up one of the health hubs locally and getting people involved, and yeah, it's something I hope we can get spread throughout the stands. I know we've got a lot of standers already involved in the community projects and the Roots to the Future, and I think, yeah, it'll be the same kind of thing going on here. It's really great to have things knitting together at last, as that's been the one thing that we've all been a bit stressed about, I suppose, in all these movies. How on earth do we bring it all together? It's been really difficult, but now we seem to be getting to the point where it is happening. It's because, like you say, people are getting more organized and they are reaching out more to people within their regions and finding out what other people are doing. So yeah,
very exciting times.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, well, look, we're running out of time, I think.
Yeah, and that's probably quite a nice note to end on as well. That's so positive.
Yeah, it's a good one. Okie doke. Well, lovely to see you as always, and
yeah,
and hopefully Sylv will be with us next week.
Yeah.
Put some stuff on.
Hey, Sylv, if you're watching, well, when you're watching the recording, obviously now, but
at some point. Okie doke. Right. Well, yeah, we'll see you next week.
Indeed. Lots of love to standers everywhere.
Yeah, take care. See you soon.
Bye.